The void of space was alive with the hum of war, trillions of ships spanning countless systems, fleets locked in eternal conflict that had raged for 700,000 years. Battleships glimmered with weaponized energy as fleets maneuvered across the darkness, light years of destruction condensed into lethal precision. Entire star systems had already fallen, civilizations extinguished, yet no force had shifted the tide, until the USS Stardestroyer appeared. It was unlike any vessel the galaxy had ever witnessed. Sleek, enormous, bristling with weapons systems, its hull shimmering with adaptive stealth plating, and engines emitting a subtle but powerful gravitic signature. It moved through the void with grace, unthreatened by the countless fleets converging around it. Alien admirals issued commands, their voices carried through subspace comms, their fleets forming battle lines meant to overwhelm. Yet none had ever faced humans like these. From the bridge, Admiral Kira Vance observed the displays, her expression calm, almost serene. Hundreds of alien species filled her tactical screens, but her mind was already several steps ahead, anticipating movements, reading intentions, calculating the smallest vulnerabilities in the opposing fleets. "Target their command nodes," she said softly, voice steady. "Prioritize coordination grids. We don't need to fight every ship, we just need to end the war." The first volley of alien fire struck, massive energy beams tearing through the vacuum, yet the USS Stardestroyer moved with preternatural precision. Shields flared, absorbing impacts that would have vaporized lesser vessels. Countermeasures deployed in perfect timing, decoys and gravitational distortions leaving enemy targeting systems ineffective. In the alien fleets, confusion spread. The leaders had faced humans before, but never like this. One admiral, a veteran of 10 millennia of war, muttered in disbelief, how can one ship evade all fire? They are not possible." On board, human crews moved with quiet efficiency. Every console operator, weapons officer, and engineer executed tasks with near telepathic coordination. The air crackled with tension, yet the humans themselves remained calm, focused. Kira's hand hovered above the central control interface, eyes scanning the holographic projection of the battlefield. "Deploy gravitic destabilizers on their outer flanks. Initiate synchronized pulse on all central fleets. Fire on my mark." The enemy fleets didn't notice the subtle manipulations of spacetime until it was too late. Entire squadrons slowed, engines faltering as gravitic fields disrupted propulsion matrices. Coordinated attacks failed, weapons locked onto phantom targets created by advanced holographic decoys. A wave of panic spread across command bridges, alien officers barking impossible orders, yet nothing could counter the precision of a human strategy executed flawlessly. With surgical efficiency, the Stardestroyer fired its first salvo, concentrated gravitic torpedoes capable of destabilizing entire fleet formations. Hundreds of ships simultaneously fractured, collisions and chain reactions erupting across battle zones. The alien admirals tried to regroup, but each maneuver had been anticipated. Every escape vector, every defensive tactic, had already been accounted for. In the bridge, Kira leaned forward slightly. "Secondary target arrays, now. Focus on their command fleets. End communications. Cut coordination." Alien fleets were sent into chaos as entire war coordination nodes were obliterated in sequence. Fleets lost cohesion instantly, thousands of vessels drifting powerless in the void, awaiting destruction they could no longer avoid. From the observation screens, junior officers watched fleets collapse in ways that defied centuries of tactical doctrine. "Admiral, they're disintegrating entire command structures, without direct engagement." Kira's calm gaze never wavered. "We don't fight the war. We end the war. Focus strikes, minimal losses, maximum effect. Humans don't waste effort." In minutes, the visual displays of the battlefield became a tapestry of destruction and stillness. Alien fleets that had taken centuries to assemble and generations to coordinate now floated as shattered husks, their formations annihilated, their command networks erased. Energy pulses from destroyed vessels illuminated the void like dying stars. Kira's voice broke the silence softly, almost a whisper. Prepare to initiate final pulse. End the war. Engineers on the Stardestroyer synchronized energy cores, preparing a gravitic wave capable of collapsing remaining fleet structures across tens of light-years. Alien admirals had only moments to comprehend the scale of human engineering before the final strike detonated. Every ship in the enemy armadas shuddered as the gravitic pulse propagated, tearing propulsion systems from hulls, warping command grids beyond repair, reducing decades of war into instantaneous stillness. Fleets that had fought for 700,000 years were gone in a blink, casualties numbering beyond comprehension. The bridge remained calm, lights reflecting softly across the human crew's faces. Kira watched as the final signals of enemy fleets faded from tactical screens. That's the war, she said quietly. 50 minutes from start to finish. Humanity ends what the galaxy could not. Outside, in the void, the remnants of the alien fleets drifted silently, inert hulks floating against the cold backdrop of stars. The USS Stardestroyer moved through the wreckage unscathed, engines humming with effortless power, sensors already scanning for any possible threat. Even in victory, humans observed, calculated, and prepared for what the galaxy might bring next. The void shimmered with the aftermath of annihilation. Millions of alien vessels, once teeming with crews, now drifted as lifeless husks, engines dead, energy shields collapsed. The USS Stardestroyer glided through the wreckage with effortless authority, sensors scanning for any sign of residual threats. Admiral Kira Vance observed the tactical displays, her eyes calm, unwavering. She tapped the interface, reviewing subspace communications, analyzing alien fleet patterns and residual defense arrays. They've lost coordination entirely, she said softly. We need to ensure there's no chance of resurgence. Across the galaxy, fragmented command centers struggled to comprehend what had occurred. Alien species accustomed to millennia of warfare could not fathom how a single human vessel had dismantled fleets that spanned light-years in mere minutes. Panic rippled through the surviving command structures, signals of surrender, confusion, and fear echoed across subspace. On the Stardestroyer's bridge, crew members worked seamlessly, anticipating every move without verbal instruction. Engineers recalibrated gravitic arrays, preparing follow-up pulses to neutralize damaged vessels, while tactical officers deployed autonomous drones to secure drifting alien warships. Every action was precise, silent, coordinated. Humans didn't hesitate, they calculated, predicted, and executed. A junior officer spoke, voice tense yet awed, "Admiral, reports show alien admirals attempting countermeasures. They're trying to scramble the gravitic nullifiers." Kira's gaze didn't waver. Let them try. They're already out of time. Focus on intercepting any residual energy signals. Target their fleet cores directly if they attempt reactivation. From the tactical screens, the remaining alien ships emitted bursts of energy, desperate attempts to regroup or retaliate. The Stardestroyer responded with surgical precision, targeting command cores, neutralizing propulsion, and collapsing defensive grids without unnecessary destruction. Within moments, every fragment of resistance was reduced to inert wreckage. In the observation chamber, the senior strategist, Lieutenant Commander Jalen, whispered, "Admiral, they've never faced humans like this. Entire civilizations are surrendering in real time. The psychological impact alone is devastating." Kira allowed herself a small nod. Psychology is as much a weapon as any energy cannon. The galaxy has never seen humans operate at this scale. That's why we end wars, not prolong them. Across subspace, alien communications carried trembling reports. It cannot be a single vessel," one admiral hissed. 700,000 years of war, destroyed, in 50 minutes, by humans? Their words were fragmented, disbelief evident, as the remnants of fleets drifted in total silence. The Stardestroyer adjusted course, moving toward the outer flanks where scattered enemy vessels attempted to retreat. Gravimetric projectors initiated subtle field distortions, guiding the fleeing ships into containment corridors where autonomous drones immobilized them. There was no chaos, no panic aboard the human vessel, only absolute control. Kira's voice was calm, authoritative. Prepare final containment grids. Any remaining hostile energy signatures are to be neutralized and assimilated into the fleet's gravitic reserves. We leave nothing unaccounted for. The crew executed orders without hesitation. Every system of the Stardestroyer, gravitic projectors, energy weapons, drone control, subspace communication relays, moved as a single entity orchestrated by human ingenuity. Alien observers, monitoring from afar, could only watch as centuries of warfare disintegrated before their eyes. A secondary wave of alien ships, previously hidden, attempted to ambush the Stardestroyer. Sensors picked up their approach milliseconds before they appeared on conventional detection grids. Kira tilted her head slightly, a faint smile crossing her features. They're predictable. Execute synchronized pulse sequence, flank and neutralize. In perfect timing, gravitic torpedoes rippled through the ambush fleet, disabling propulsion and collapsing energy shields. The attackers were neutralized before their weapons could fire. The efficiency was inhuman, almost effortless. Even seasoned alien commanders felt fear at the realization. Humans anticipated, predicted, and nullified threats faster than any enemy could react. Jalen leaned forward, whispering, "Admiral, the psychological shock alone will guarantee surrender across all sectors." Kira's eyes scanned the remaining fragments on the tactical hologram. Yes. And once the surrender is total, we ensure peace is enforced, systems stabilized, and the galaxy recognizes the supremacy of human strategy. Victory without prolonged bloodshed, true apex power. Across the galaxy, signals of surrender multiplied. Ships that had fought for millennia sent transmission after transmission, offering terms, retreating from battle, or powering down entirely. The 50 minutes of absolute dominance by the USS Stardestroyer had shattered not only fleets but the very will to continue fighting. Every human crew member remained calm, collected, aware that the battle's scale was unlike anything history had ever recorded. They had not only won, they had ended an epoch of galactic warfare, demonstrating humanity's unmatched ability to strategize, anticipate, and execute at an apex level. Scattered alien fleets attempted desperate maneuvers, retreating toward subspace corridors and fortified systems. Sensors on the USS Stardestroyer tracked every movement in real time. Each fleet fragment, though desperate and heavily armed, was predictable in its panic, and humans exploited it with surgical precision. Admiral Kira Vance's fingers moved across the tactical interface almost instinctively, issuing orders that synchronized drones, gravitic projectors, and torpedo volleys. Initiate containment protocols on all subspace exit points. Any fleet attempting to flee is to be neutralized before reaching safe corridors. The alien commanders reacted with frantic energy, desperate to rally their fleets. Subspace signals crackled, orders were barked, yet none reached in time. Humans had anticipated the communication lag, the natural delays in alien command networks, and exploited it perfectly. Every attempt at counter-strategy was preemptively nullified. Autonomous drones swarmed through drifting debris, capturing disabled ships, securing weapon caches, and extracting valuable intel. Gravimetric fields nudged drifting vessels into controlled formations, ensuring no fragment could regroup. Humans did not kill unnecessarily, they enforced dominance with efficiency, precision, and psychological authority. In the observation chamber, junior officers whispered in awe. They're not just winning. They're controlling the battlefield entirely. Every possible escape, every fallback strategy, nullified. Kira's calm gaze swept the holographic battlefield. Exactly. Victory is not just destruction. Victory is absolute control. Let the enemy see power they cannot resist, and the galaxy bends to our strategy without unnecessary bloodshed. A desperate alien coalition leader attempted a high-speed attack with modified warships designed for infiltration and sabotage. The vessels emerged from subspace channels in a coordinated strike, aiming directly for the Stardestroyer's vulnerable sectors. Kira's voice was steady. Target their formation with synchronized gravitic pulses. Initiate adaptive shielding on all critical arrays. Track every vector, none can slip through. The attack was annihilated before weapons could fire. Energy signatures collapsed mid-flight, shields evaporated, and hulls destabilized as gravitic torpedoes rendered engines inert. Alien pilots were flung into the void, unable to comprehend their instantaneous defeat. The speed and accuracy of the human response left observers shaking in disbelief. Across the galaxy, fragmented communications reflected panic, confusion, and surrender. It's impossible. One human vessel, controlling fleets across light years with perfect precision. Every surviving admiral now realized their centuries of tactical experience were insufficient against human ingenuity. On the Stardestroyer, engineers monitored residual energy readings, ensuring that even damaged alien ships could not reactivate. Kira nodded slightly. Ensure no system is left operational. The galaxy must understand our reach and control. Humans do not negotiate with chaos, we organize it. A secondary fleet attempted a mass-synchronized attack from a nearby star system. Kira's fingers hovered over the interface, then pressed decisively. Synchronized multi-directional pulse. Target propulsion and energy grids. Divide and neutralize. The attack disintegrated before the alien fleet could close distances. Ships drifted helplessly, subspace communications dead, energy grids collapsed. The alien coalition's hope was extinguished in moments. Lieutenant Commander Jalen exhaled slowly. Admiral, they've seen the full scale now. Entire fleets neutralized. Not destroyed, but incapacitated. Psychological shock alone will secure surrender across every system. Kira's voice remained calm, almost serene. Yes. They must understand the cost of defiance. Humanity does not need to destroy to dominate. We enforce strategy, control, and precision. That is the apex of warfare. From distant observation satellites, alien civilizations recorded the event with growing terror. Centuries of planning, millennia of conflict, and 700,000 years of galactic war, all reduced to incoherence within 50 minutes. Humans had not merely won, they had imposed control in a manner previously unimaginable. The USS Stardestroyer advanced toward the remaining fragments of the alien fleets, moving with calculated grace, engines humming silently. Humans anticipated every possible move, every desperate countermeasure. There was no panic aboard the human vessel, only the precision and composure that had become synonymous with apex human strategy. Every tactical display showed the same outcome: alien fleets scattered, confused, and powerless. Subspace corridors were blocked, retreat impossible, and the psychological dominance of humans was absolute. Kira's calm, calculated authority radiated through the vessel, reflected in every crew member's focused efficiency. Humans had transformed warfare from chaos to absolute control. Their apex was not merely in firepower, it was in prediction, strategy, and presence. The galaxy watched helplessly as the final vestiges of the once united fleets attempted to resist, only to be neutralized effortlessly, systematically, and completely. The void shimmered as the Stardestroyer approached the outermost remnants of the alien coalition. Even at this distance, the scale of human control over the battlefield was absolute. Fragments of fleets, previously considered unreachable, now drifted in coordinated containment corridors, powerless against the gravitational manipulations emanating from the human vessel. Admiral Kira Vance studied the tactical overlays, noting subtle energy fluctuations in distant enemy vessels. They're attempting isolated reactivations. Prepare intercept sequences, but do not destroy unnecessarily. Containment is enough to enforce obedience. Engineers executed her orders with machine-like precision. Gravitic projectors activated across multiple decks, creating invisible corridors that guided drifting alien ships into immobilized formations. Autonomous drones deployed, establishing energy nets that prevented escape or regrouping. Even the slightest deviation in trajectory was anticipated and corrected in real time. In the alien command networks, panic escalated. Commanders barked orders at subordinates, but signals arrived too late. Reaction times, once sufficient for coordinated defense, were now hopelessly inadequate against human anticipation. One veteran admiral shouted into comms, voice trembling, How are they predicting every maneuver? Every evasive vector? This is impossible. Kira's voice remained calm, almost meditative. They underestimate the apex of strategy. Humans do not react. Humans predict, anticipate, and orchestrate outcomes before they occur. That is the difference between survival and annihilation. The Stardestroyer fired a series of non-lethal gravitic torpedoes at clusters of active enemy engines. Vessels spun helplessly, propulsion systems destabilized, and energy shields collapsed. Within moments, scattered enemy squadrons had no means to regroup. The human crew executed these maneuvers seamlessly, working as one mind across the ship. Lieutenant Commander Jalen observed from the tactical station. Admiral, even the most heavily armored command ships are being neutralized without direct contact. Entire civilizations are losing cohesion purely through strategy. Kira nodded. Correct. Physical destruction is rarely necessary when complete control can be imposed with precision. Let them see human apex strategy in action. Let them understand that resistance is not only futile, it is irrelevant. From the remaining alien fleets, desperate attempts at coordinated attacks began to emerge. Warships deployed energy volleys in frantic patterns, attempting to overwhelm the Stardestroyer's defenses. The human vessel responded instantly, gravitic nullifiers disrupting energy beams mid-flight, adaptive shields absorbing and redirecting impacts, while autonomous drones intercepted approaching vessels. Every strike, every countermeasure, every maneuver demonstrated human mastery of both technology and battlefield psychology. Alien commanders quickly realized that their millennia of tactical knowledge were worthless against humans who predicted every action before it occurred. In the observation chamber, junior officers whispered among themselves, awe-stricken. They don't just destroy fleets. They control them. They anticipate everything. The galaxy has never seen anything like this. Kira's eyes scanned the tactical displays. Final containment grids are being deployed. Any ship attempting unauthorized maneuvers is to be immobilized. We leave no margin for miscalculation. Humans enforce order where others only wage war. Across subspace, alien communication signals began to reflect a pattern of surrender. Entire fleets, unable to counteract the Stardestroyer's precision, sent transmission after transmission, seeking terms, retreating, or powering down completely. The psychological impact was instantaneous and overwhelming. The Stardestroyer glided forward, engines humming softly, as though the vessel itself were aware of its unparalleled dominance. Humans on board remained calm, collected, almost serene in the face of total galactic chaos. Their apex was not in the destruction of life, it was in the orchestration of outcomes, the imposition of control, and the projection of strategy on a scale no other species could comprehend. Every tactical readout confirmed the same truth: the remaining alien fleets were scattered, disoriented, and entirely incapable of coordinated action. Even their most desperate maneuvers were anticipated and neutralized effortlessly. The galaxy had never seen such absolute, calculated dominance executed in real time. Kira exhaled softly, observing the operational efficiency of her crew. This is what Apex strategy looks like. Humans do not merely fight, they enforce outcomes. We end conflicts before they can even begin. In the void beyond, the alien coalition struggled to comprehend the scale of their defeat. Every fleet fragment, every command vessel, every escape attempt had been neutralized or contained. The psychological shock of humans executing absolute control reverberated across systems, civilizations, and sectors. The Stardestroyer advanced calmly, unthreatened, methodical, unstoppable. Every move demonstrated the apex of human strategic mastery, a force that the galaxy had never witnessed and could scarcely comprehend. The Stardestroyer glided through the fractured remnants of the alien coalition, every ship in its path already mapped, every threat anticipated. Even the most heavily armored vessels that had survived the initial strikes were now isolated and vulnerable. Human strategy ensured no fleet could regroup, no commander could issue coherent orders. Admiral Kira Vance leaned over the tactical interface, observing energy signatures flickering across multiple light-years. Focus on the remaining cluster formations. Their command nodes are unstable, target them with precision pulses, but do not overextend. Efficiency is paramount. Engineers adjusted gravitic fields to subtly shift enemy vessels into controlled positions. Entire squadrons, previously considered capable of evasive maneuvers, now drifted as if guided by invisible hands. Human drones intercepted any attempt at counterattack, neutralizing propulsion systems and disabling weapons arrays with preemptive precision. In alien command centers, panic turned to hysteria. "Impossible," one admiral hissed, voice trembling through comms. "One ship, one human vessel, has rendered entire fleets immobile across light-years. 700,000 years of warfare, gone. Annihilated. Nullified." Kira's calm voice echoed across the bridge. "It is not annihilation. It is control. Humans do not waste effort on needless destruction. We enforce outcomes. We shape the battlefield, predict the enemy, and impose order where chaos once reigned." A cluster of alien warships attempted a desperate massed attack, energy beams converging on the Stardestroyer in an intricate pattern designed to overwhelm. Human sensors, however, had already calculated every vector, every energy fluctuation, every potential trajectory. The Stardestroyer responded with synchronized gravitic pulses, dismantling propulsion arrays mid-flight, collapsing energy shields, and redirecting weapon energy harmlessly into space. Lieutenant Commander Jalen's voice broke the silence, awe-stricken. "Admiral, even the most coordinated attack is nullified before it begins. Their fleets are not just defeated, they're controlled without engagement." Kira's eyes remained steady. Humans anticipate. Humans predict. Humans dominate through strategy, not brute force. That is why we end wars where others fight endlessly. Across multiple star systems, alien commanders attempted last-ditch retreats, deploying subspace jump drives and evasive maneuvers. Each attempt was countered before it could succeed. Gravimetric projectors nudged vessels back into containment corridors, while autonomous drones disabled engines and communications. Panic spread like wildfire, and alien fleets began to surrender piecemeal, unwilling to endure futility. Kira's hand hovered over the final command matrix. "Prepare secondary pulse sequences for residual fleets. Any active energy signatures are to be neutralized. No vessel escapes the apex of human strategy." The human crew executed commands flawlessly, coordinating energy emissions, drone deployments, and gravitic manipulations across multiple light-years simultaneously. Alien leaders watched in disbelief as vessels that had taken centuries to construct and millennia to train crews were rendered helpless with surgical precision. Subspace channels filled with surrender signals, desperate transmissions, and confessions of defeat. Every fleet fragment that had once fought for generations now drifted inert, their crews stunned by the efficiency and foresight of humans. Jalen observed the tactical displays, voice quiet. "Admiral, they're seeing humans not just as victors, but as an apex species capable of total control. No one else could execute this scale of domination in 50 minutes. Kira's gaze swept across the bridge, calm as ever. Exactly. Humans enforce outcomes. We end conflicts before they escalate. We do not fight blindly. We predict, we anticipate, and we dominate where others flounder. The Stardestroyer advanced, engines humming with quiet authority. Remaining alien ships attempted scattering maneuvers, yet humans anticipated every adjustment, every subspace jump, and every evasive pattern. Gravitic pulses corralled them into containment, and drones disabled critical systems before weapons could fire. Across the galaxy, civilizations watched and recorded the events, disbelief spreading faster than any human vessel could traverse. 700,000 years of war, cultures, and fleets, collapsed in 50 minutes by a single human vessel executing apex strategy, patience, and calculated dominance. Even as the remaining pockets of resistance faltered, humans remained calm, efficient, and collected. Their mastery was not measured in destruction alone, but in precision, control, and the ability to predict the course of conflict across multiple star systems simultaneously. Every vessel neutralized, every fleet contained, every strategy anticipated, it all demonstrated a single truth: humans were apex not by brute force, but by mind, presence, and foresight. The galaxy had never witnessed such total, controlled dominance. The Stardestroyer moved through the remnants of what had once been sprawling armadas, scanning for any residual energy signatures, any fragment of defiance. Even isolated command ships, heavily armored and centuries in construction, now drifted powerless, engines dead, weapons offline, their crews frozen in disbelief. Admiral Kira Vance's gaze remained steady on the tactical holograms, noting microfluctuations in gravitic fields and energy emissions. Prepare final containment vectors for the remaining systems. Activate subspace nullifiers. Any vessel attempting escape is to be intercepted and immobilized immediately. Engineers adjusted gravitic projectors to establish invisible corridors of containment across multiple star systems simultaneously. Entire clusters of alien vessels were subtly redirected into positions where they could neither flee nor mount an effective counterattack. Autonomous drones patrolled these corridors, disabling propulsion, neutralizing weapon arrays, and securing communications systems. In the alien command centers, panic escalated to sheer terror. Fleet admirals struggled to issue orders, but subspace delays and human foresight rendered them ineffective. One veteran commander shouted, voice trembling, how can a single vessel anticipate every maneuver? Every evasive tactic? Every attempt at regrouping? Kira's voice cut through the bridge quietly, calm as ever. Humans do not react. Humans predict. Humans enforce outcomes. Strategy is the apex of warfare, and we have perfected it. Across multiple star systems, alien fleets attempted desperate massed assaults. Energy beams converged on the Stardestroyer in intricate patterns meant to overwhelm its defenses. Human sensors anticipated each vector before the ships emerged fully from subspace. Gravimetric nullifiers collapsed propulsion mid-flight, energy shields evaporated, and torpedoes disabled the attackers before they could engage. Lieutenant Commander Jalen whispered in awe, Admiral, entire fleets are incapacitated without direct engagement. Humans aren't just winning, they're controlling the battlefield completely. Kira nodded slightly. Control is the apex of dominance. The galaxy will understand that resistance against humans is not only futile, it is irrelevant. Alien command networks began to collapse. Communications faltered as their warships lost synchronization. Desperate fleet fragments attempted subspace jumps, hoping to escape, but human predictive algorithms anticipated their every destination. Gravitic pulses redirected them instantly, and autonomous drones disabled propulsion systems mid-transition. The psychological impact was devastating. Across the galaxy, transmissions flooded in, offers of surrender, frantic calls for negotiation, entire fleets powering down in compliance. 700,000 years of war had come to an abrupt, incomprehensible halt in 50 minutes, and the galaxy struggled to process the efficiency, intelligence, and foresight of humanity. On board the Stardestroyer, Kira's hand hovered over the final interface. Initiate universal containment sweep. Confirm immobilization of all active vessels. Ensure no fleet, no command node, no energy signature remains operational. The crew executed the command with perfect timing. Gravimetric corridors expanded, energy nets enveloped drifting ships, and drones secured every system. Fleets that had been considered invincible were immobilized completely. Even the most advanced alien vessels were unable to resist, their defenses rendered irrelevant by the combination of predictive human strategy and technological superiority. Jalen observed the displays, whispering, "Admiral, even the most elite fleets across the galaxy are now under control. Humans have imposed order where chaos has reigned for millennia." Kira's gaze swept across the bridge, calm and authoritative. That is the apex of human capability. Strategy, precision, foresight, and control. The galaxy has witnessed humans at their peak. They will remember this for generations. Residual alien command ships attempted last-minute evasions. Gravitic pulses nudged them back into containment corridors. Autonomous drones disabled critical systems, leaving no room for recovery. Every maneuver was calculated, every possibility anticipated, leaving alien fleets helpless and disoriented. Humans did not celebrate. They moved with calm precision, executing the final stages of containment with the efficiency of a single, coordinated mind across multiple systems. Victory was total, but it was the mastery of strategy, control, and foresight that defined the moment. Across subspace, alien observers and commanders attempted to comprehend what had just occurred. The galaxy had never seen such dominance executed by a single vessel and its crew. Entire civilizations had been neutralized in minutes, their fleets incapacitated without wholesale slaughter, their morale shattered, and their leadership reduced to panic. The Stardestroyer advanced calmly, engines humming with authority, already scanning for the faintest anomalies, prepared for any residual resistance. Humans had imposed order across light years, demonstrated apex control, and ended a war that had lasted 700,000 years in 50 minutes. The Stardestroyer moved like a phantom through the remnants of alien fleets, sensors scanning across light years for even the faintest pulse of resistance. Every vessel, every command node, every energy signature that had once posed a threat was now accounted for, neutralized, or immobilized. Humanity's reach was absolute. Admiral Kira Vance observed the tactical displays with calm precision, noting minute energy fluctuations from the outer flanks. Prepare final engagement sweep on residual systems. Ensure every command structure, every fleet fragment, is fully contained. No vessel escapes human foresight. Engineers activated the subspace gravitic grids, expanding invisible containment corridors to the outermost edges of the galaxy's warring sectors. Autonomous drones deployed in swarms, patrolling and immobilizing any ship attempting to flee. Even heavily armored command vessels could not evade the coordinated human system. In alien command centers, fear had transformed into disbelief. Generations of tactical knowledge, accumulated over hundreds of millennia, were rendered meaningless. One admiral, voice trembling, whispered across subspace, "They do not fight as we understand fighting, they control everything." One vessel, one human vessel. Kira's calm voice echoed across the bridge. Humans do not fight blindly. We anticipate. We predict. We enforce outcomes. That is apex strategy. The remaining alien fleet attempted a desperate final maneuver, a massed formation intended to concentrate energy beams on the Stardestroyer and overwhelm its shields. Human predictive algorithms anticipated every trajectory. Gravimetric nullifiers disabled propulsion mid-flight, torpedoes disrupted energy grids, and autonomous drones neutralized critical systems before weapons could fire. Lieutenant Commander Jalen's voice was awed. "Admiral, their fleets are incapacitated before they can engage. Entire civilizations are paralyzed purely by human anticipation." Kira nodded slightly. Control is the ultimate victory. The galaxy will recognize that resistance against humans is irrelevant. We impose strategy, precision, and foresight on a scale they cannot comprehend. Subspace channels flooded with frantic alien communications. Surrenders, pleas for negotiation, and chaotic reports of immobilized fleets reverberated across light years. Humanity's presence was now understood not only as superior in firepower, but in the ability to predict and neutralize threats with surgical efficiency. On the bridge, engineers monitored residual energy surges from disabled vessels. Admiral, even the most advanced command ships are powerless. Subspace jump attempts are intercepted automatically. No system remains operational. Kira's gaze swept across the holographic battlefield. Ensure all command nodes are fully neutralized. Any remaining fleet fragments are to be contained. Humans enforce the galaxy's order through foresight, not chaos. Let this be an apex demonstration. The Stardestroyer glided forward, engines emitting a quiet, authoritative hum. Across light years, autonomous drones continued securing drifting alien ships, neutralizing propulsion systems, and capturing vital command data. Every action executed without hesitation, every possibility accounted for. Alien commanders attempted desperate transmissions to rally survivors, but human predictive algorithms had already intercepted, decoded, and neutralized their communications. Every desperate plan dissolved before it could even begin. Jalen exhaled, voice hushed. Admiral, entire fleets, entire civilizations, immobilized and controlled. The galaxy has never seen this level of dominance. Kira's calm voice resonated across the bridge. Humans do not merely fight. We orchestrate outcomes. We impose order where chaos reigned for hundreds of millennia. That is apex supremacy. The Stardestroyer moved onward, methodical, precise, unstoppable. Even as alien fleets floundered and faltered, humans maintained composure, awareness, and absolute control. Psychological shock rippled across the galaxy, entire species witnessed the power of humans at their peak, and no force could challenge it. Every vessel neutralized, every command node dismantled, every strategy anticipated, human dominance was total, complete, and unassailable. The galaxy had never witnessed such an apex of foresight, strategy, and efficiency, executed flawlessly in real time. The USS Stardestroyer advanced, engines humming, sensors scanning, and drones enforcing control. Every corner of the warring sectors fell under human authority. Humans had ended 700,000 years of conflict in 50 minutes, demonstrating mastery that no other species could imagine, much less resist. The Stardestroyer moved methodically through the final remnants of scattered alien fleets. Every ship, every command node, every energy signature that had previously posed a threat was now neutralized or contained. Even the most advanced warships, designed to withstand centuries of combat, were rendered inert under human precision and foresight. Admiral Kira Vance observed the holographic battlefield, her calm gaze sweeping across light years of drifting vessels. Deploy universal containment nets. Ensure every propulsion system is disabled and all communication arrays are offline. Any attempt at resistance is to be intercepted immediately. Engineers activated subspace gravitic corridors, invisible yet immutable. Drifting fleets were gently nudged into containment patterns, unable to flee or regroup. Autonomous drones patrolled these corridors, ready to immobilize any ship attempting to act outside the prescribed path. Across the galaxy, alien command centers were in disarray. Leaders shouted desperate orders, but subspace delays and human predictive control rendered them meaningless. Panic swept through civilizations that had fought for hundreds of millennia. One admiral whispered in disbelief, how can a single vessel control entire fleets across light years? It's impossible. Kira's voice was calm, unwavering. It is not impossible. It is strategy. Humans do not merely react, we anticipate, predict, and enforce outcomes. That is apex warfare. The last pockets of alien resistance attempted a coordinated strike. Energy beams converged from multiple angles, designed to overwhelm the Stardestroyer's shields. Human predictive algorithms anticipated each vector, adjusting gravitic nullifiers and shield configurations in real time. Torpedoes disabled propulsion mid-flight, and drones intercepted any vessel attempting to fire. Lieutenant Commander Jalen whispered, "Admiral, even their final attacks are neutralized before they begin. Humans are controlling the battlefield completely." Kira nodded, her calm demeanor unshaken. "Control is the apex of dominance. Let them see the futility of resistance. Every system, every fleet, every command node must understand human supremacy." Subspace channels flooded with surrender signals. Fleets powered down, desperate transmissions for negotiation or retreat filled the spectrum. The psychological impact of humans enforcing control without indiscriminate destruction was overwhelming. Entire civilizations recognized the futility of resistance. Engineers monitored the final energy signatures. "Admiral, no active propulsion or weapon systems remain operational. All command networks are disabled. There is nothing left to counteract." Kira's eyes scanned the final tactical overlays. Confirmed containment grids are stable. Humans enforce order, not chaos. The galaxy must recognize that any attempt at war against us is irrelevant. The Stardestroyer advanced calmly, engines humming, sensors sweeping the void. Autonomous drones ensured containment of all vessels, neutralizing residual energy emissions, and maintaining control over drifting fleets. Humans did not celebrate, they executed the final stages with surgical precision and calm authority. Alien leaders attempted last-minute transmissions, pleading or threatening, but humans anticipated every move. Signals were intercepted, communication nodes dismantled, and fleets fully immobilized. Panic turned to despair. The realization was universal. Humans had ended 700,000 years of conflict in 50 minutes, and no force could oppose them. Every vessel neutralized, every fleet contained, every command structure dismantled, human mastery was absolute. Psychological dominance rippled across light years. The galaxy understood the scale, precision, and foresight of humanity. Resistance was irrelevant. The USS Stardestroyer moved forward, a singular apex of strategy, control, and technological mastery. Every corner of the warring sectors fell under human authority. Even the faintest flicker of resistance was preemptively nullified. Humans had imposed order where chaos had reigned for 700,000 years, demonstrating the pinnacle of HFY dominance. Across the galaxy, civilizations struggled to comprehend what had just occurred. Signals flooded in from systems that had been at war for millennia. Command fleets, once untouchable, now lay inert. Entire governments transmitted urgent messages of surrender, negotiation, and compliance. The scale of human dominance had shattered every expectation. Admiral Kira Vance monitored the tactical displays with calm authority. Begin systemic stabilization protocols. Ensure all fleets are fully contained, and that no residual energy signatures indicate reactivation attempts. The galaxy must recognize the finality of our intervention. Engineers adjusted gravitic networks, stabilizing drifting vessels and aligning them into controlled formations. Autonomous drones patrolled every sector, intercepting minor energy fluctuations and immediately neutralizing any residual threat. Humanity's control was total, absolute, and unwavering. In alien capitals, leaders convened in emergency councils. Panic had transformed into awe and terror. Generations of experience, thousands of years of accumulated tactical knowledge, and the most advanced warships could not counter a single human vessel's precision. One council member whispered, voice trembling, "They don't merely defeat us, they control everything." One ship, one species, ended 700,000 years of war in 50 minutes. Kira's calm voice resonated across the Stardestroyer bridge. Humans do not fight like others. We anticipate, predict, and impose outcomes. That is apex supremacy. Let the galaxy understand it clearly. The remaining alien factions attempted desperate evacuations, subspace jumps, or hidden deployments. Every movement was predicted and countered. Gravimetric projectors subtly nudged vessels into containment corridors, and drones disabled propulsion systems mid-transition. Every potential resistance was neutralized before it could manifest. Lieutenant Commander Jalen observed the holographic overlays. Admiral, even the smallest fleets are now immobilized. Entire civilizations are effectively under our control without a single unnecessary loss of life. Kira nodded. Efficiency, precision, foresight, this is how humans dominate. We end conflict without unnecessary destruction. That is the apex of strategy. Alien commanders sent frantic messages across subspace, attempting to coordinate new strategies or rally survivors. Every transmission was intercepted and neutralized. Humans had complete situational awareness, the galaxy had no avenue left to resist. Across star systems, surrender signals multiplied. Entire fleets powered down. Governments sent emissaries, offering compliance and recognition of human authority. The psychological impact was profound. No species could challenge humans, and every surviving civilization now understood the futility of resistance. The Stardestroyer moved steadily, engines emitting a calm, authoritative hum. Every system aboard the vessel, every drone deployed, every gravitic field projected, reinforced the totality of human control. Humans had not merely ended a war, they had imposed order, demonstrated mastery, and cemented apex supremacy across light years. Kira's gaze swept the tactical displays, noting the alignment of previously warring fleets. Prepare final protocol, universal stabilization. Ensure all sectors are contained, and that every alien fleet is immobilized until directives are received. Humans enforce control, not chaos. The crew executed these commands flawlessly. Drifting fleets were guided into permanent positions, energy emissions stabilized, and subspace corridors sealed. Psychological dominance radiated from every action, leaving alien civilizations in stunned submission. Even the faintest attempt at resistance or rebellion was anticipated and neutralized. Humans had not only ended 700,000 years of war, they had defined the apex of strategy, control, and dominance. The galaxy had never witnessed such precise, total mastery executed by a single species. The USS Stardestroyer advanced silently, a singular embodiment of human apex capability. Across light years, civilizations now recognized that the future of the galaxy was under the control of humans. Any thought of resistance had been neutralized before it could manifest, leaving the galaxy in unprecedented order and stability. The Stardestroyer advanced through the final sectors of the galaxy, engines humming with calm authority. Every vessel, every fleet fragment, every command node was now contained, neutralized, or immobilized. The war that had raged for 700,000 years had been reduced to silence, order, and absolute human control. Admiral Kira Vance observed the tactical overlays, noting the final energy readings. Activate universal stabilization protocols across all sectors. Ensure no residual power signatures remain. The galaxy must recognize the finality of our intervention. Engineers synchronized gravitic projectors across multiple light years. Drifting fleets were guided into permanent containment corridors, autonomous drones patrolled the void, and all communication networks were stabilized under human observation. There was no chaos, no confusion, only complete control. Across alien civilizations, leaders sent final transmissions of surrender. Entire fleets powered down, governments submitted, and long-warring factions acknowledged the supremacy of humans. The psychological impact was overwhelming. Millennia of conflict and strategy had been nullified by a single human vessel executing perfect foresight and coordination. Lieutenant Commander Jalen whispered, awed. Admiral, every faction, every fleet, every civilization, is now under our control. The galaxy has never witnessed this level of dominance. Kira's gaze remained calm, steady. Humans do not merely fight. We anticipate. We predict. We enforce outcomes. That is apex supremacy. This is how the galaxy will remember us. Even the most advanced alien fleets, designed to resist centuries of assault, lay inert. Subspace corridors had been sealed, energy networks stabilized, and gravitic fields ensured no movement without human permission. Humanity's reach extended across every system, every fleet, every sector of the galaxy. The remaining alien commanders, powerless and awestruck, attempted to communicate, but every message was intercepted, catalogued, and neutralized. No vessel could evade observation, no fleet could regroup. Humans had achieved not just victory, but absolute mastery of the battlefield. Across the galaxy, civilizations began to align with human directives. Formerly warring species now followed stabilization protocols, coordinating efforts to rebuild and ensure peace. Humans had not only ended a war lasting 700,000 years, they had imposed order, demonstrated ultimate strategic control, and established apex authority. On the Stardestroyer's bridge, Kira allowed herself a small, calm nod. The war is over. Order is restored. Humans have demonstrated the apex of strategy, foresight, and dominance. The galaxy will not forget this. The crew moved with quiet efficiency, monitoring fleets, stabilizing systems, and ensuring compliance. Every action reflected human mastery, their foresight, and their unmatched capacity to enforce outcomes without unnecessary destruction. Alien leaders, humbled and broken, began coordinating peace efforts, realizing that any future attempt at rebellion was futile. The psychological dominance of humans ensured lasting compliance. The galaxy had witnessed the apex of intelligence, strategy, and precision. The USS Stardestroyer glided forward through the now calm void, engines silent but authoritative, drones patrolling the remnants of fleets. Humanity had not only ended the longest war in galactic history, they had defined what it meant to be the apex species. In 50 minutes, 700,000 years of conflict had been concluded. Across the galaxy, the message was clear: humans were unmatched in strategy, control, and foresight. The war was over, and humanity's apex status was absolute. Every system, every fleet, every civilization recognized it: the galaxy belonged, for the first time, to humans.